Hello, everybody. Look who's here, Joshua Morrow.
What's up? How's everybody doing?
Good to see you. I'm so glad
You,
we
buddy.
were able to finally chat because I know when your 30th anniversary actually happened, right? You were in Monte Carlo, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
With
Yep.
this,
Out
with
there
this,
doing the
this
thing.
woman, with Melissa Claire Egan.
Isn't she fantastic?
You were there with Melissa Claire Egan.
She's the best. Egan's just, she makes me smile. She's truly one of my best friends in the world. And it was awesome. Her husband, Maddie, is like a great friend of mine. So I couldn't have picked someone better to go to Monaco with. It was awesome.
So we were all celebrating here your 30th anniversary, which was June 21st, right?
Right. Yes.
You debuted on June 21st, 1994.
It's definitely 94. I never know when it was in June, but yeah, yes, that is correct.
And I remember talking in your dressing room with you. We were like, oh, you might make it to the 25th, or maybe you'll make it there, or maybe you'll leave after the 20th, or maybe you'll do this. But you're like the MVP of the show. Like, you've been on 30 years now. Do you feel like this is your destination, your home, your place, or how do you feel about it now at 30 years on the show?
I'm honestly just incredibly blessed. It's been truly a dream job. Like I never expected to, do anything of this, stature. It's just it. You sort of can't comprehend that they would, pick you out of all the, you know, thousands of dudes they looked at for this role, and then also to believe in you enough to keep you around for this long. It's an incredible honor that they picked me, and more importantly, that they just said, you know what, we want you to become a fixture of this, and you can stay as long as you want. So it's been an amazing ride. I never ever take it for granted. I know I wake up every day and I'm just incredibly blessed.
So the story goes, if I understand it, you went in to read at Bold and Beautiful.
Correct. Yes.
And they remembered you, but you didn't get the role of Dylan because Dylan Neal got the part and you did not get that part.
That's right. I always forget his last name, but you're right. It was Dylan Neal. Really great dude. That process was really pressure filled. It was a screen test that took, hours and hours. We did every combination with me and Dylan and Maitland Ward and Brittany Daniel, and over again. Then they'd be like, all right, you go back to your room. And then they bring out Dylan and they swap the girls. And then it was just really stressful because at that point I was like, yeah, I'm going to try to be an actor never imagined that I could get a job like something on the Bold and the Beautiful at that time. And then I'll never forget being in astronomy class. My manager called me and he's like, they're going the other route. They're going with the other dude. And I couldn't believe it. I was a very cocky, confident young man back then. I was like, yeah, of course they're going to pick me, but it was pretty crushing, but that didn't last long because a couple weeks later, Marv, my manager, called me and was like, yeah, they want to see you at Y&R now. They really liked you there. They just went with Dylan. So, went in. I assumed it would be the same thing, like an all-day screen test, but it wasn't. I went in, I read for Bill Bell and Ed Scott and with Heather Tom, and they offered me the job on the spot. So it was a dream situation.
It was like a crushing blow, right? As a young actor when you didn't first get it, but now you probably empathize with everybody that's gone through that. Right.
Of course. I was very sad, because you're on the precipice of this incredible job. When people become actors, there's very few people who are constantly working and able to sustain themselves in it. So it was just like to have something so close and then taken away from you. It was tough, man. Gave me some humility for sure. I just said, well, it's their loss. That was my mentality.
Right.
Got on Y&R and literally got a dream role in Nick Newman. So it was, I've said it to anyone, it was my greatest failure not getting the role of Dylan.
So you go to Y&R and you meet Melody Thomas Scott and Eric Braeden. And what was your first, like when you first met them, Were you intimidated? Were they welcoming? Like, what was that moment like to like, okay, this is your parents. They're
Sure.
very important to the show.
It was so two different ends of the spectrum. Marnie Saida, who was the sort of the the gal in the office who sort of showed everyone around at that point. She was sort of wandering me around and introducing me to people, and she's like, "I'd like to introduce you to your parents." I'm like, "Great!" And I met Mel out on set. She was actually shooting that day, and she came up and gave me a big hug, and she's like, "I've heard so much about you, and Ed was telling me how amazing you are," and da da da. And she just was so welcoming and warm, and I was like, "This hot woman is going to be my mom," because I thought she was so beautiful. Like, okay, that's how soap operas are. Let's go. So, but she was so friendly, and she just just a bubbly, and I couldn't have. It couldn't have gone better. Eric is another case. He was in his dressing room, and he knows this story. I'm definitely not
Okay.
insulting him in any way, but maybe he wasn't having the best day ever, but Marnie knocked on the door and he was reading a newspaper in his couch, and Marnie's like, "I would like to introduce you to your new son." And at that point, I don't think Eric knew that they were aging Nicholas from this child to me. And he literally is just holding the newspaper and looks up and goes, "How bizarre." That was it. And so there was this awkward silence, and I'm like, "Oh, nice to meet you, sir. I'm really looking forward to it." He's like, "Well, yes, good. We'll get after it," and there was again some more awkward silences, and Marty's like, "Okay, that's it. That's time," and ushered me right out of the room. So I just think Eric, you just sort of threw him off about the rapid aging thing, and he's just, Eric is who he is. He's an amazing legend.
Well, I'm putting this photo up. This was, I believe, from your 30th anniversary episode. You took a picture with them, and in the episode, you had a really beautiful moment at the end where Nick comes in after being with Sharon and everything, doing all that and reminiscing with her. He comes to his parents and thanks them for being the parents I think they are and the people that they are, something to that effect.
Yeah.
And to me, I watched you because I've known you for the whole time, basically, that you've been on the show. And I just thought what just really ages me. But I was going to say, I've known you the whole time. And it really made me feel like this is what you would say to them, right? Didn't it feel like this is what you felt about Mel and Eric as well?
It truly is. I mean, these people are like my parents. We are a little family, the three of us, and then Amelia. And there's no acting involved. Like, it was a moment, truly one of my favorite that I've ever gotten to play on the show. It was powerful, and it was genuine, and it was just this moment where, there's so much drama always around the show, but at the end of the day, it's really about these families. And Eric and Mel have been a huge part of my life for 30 years. And they've been there at my wedding. Like, they're so important to me as people. And I just love that moment. I love that it was the end part of that show, and it just felt like the perfect topping to like this 30-year occasion. So again, I don't feel like I have to act much around them. I love them with all my heart, and I know they care deeply about me as well. So it's an awesome little family we have.
It was my favorite moment in the whole thing because
mine too.
Great. They went to the photos of you guys over the years. I was like, this is great. It was definitely that. And I thought they did a really nice job. There were clips, but it wasn't like a sobby story, right? It wasn't a complete sobby story of Nick. It was kind of how Nick and Sharon have had this up and down relationship and why it never worked out and all of that.
Sure. Sure.
I wanted to just say, here you go. Amelia Heinley and you as a brother and sister. Now, we've all talked over the years that you guys have to play, because you always have it always came across like you had a sexual attraction to each other and you had to fight it. And remember, over the years, you're like, and then we try to do these scenes, and they say we're playing the sex, you know.
Well, listen, I mean, Amelia is, I think she's like a top 5 beautiful woman on the planet. And she is so special to me. And I mean, she's everyone's favorite person on the show. And you know, it is a shame that we're brother and sister, because I think we could have been a soap opera super couple for the ages, because we care about each other very much. But you know, we like to play into it when we're not shooting, but you know, I couldn't have asked for someone better to play my sister. She's just, she means so much to me. You know, her husband's one of my best friends. She's a spectacular human being. And you know, yeah, I think the old story is that Kathy Foster, one of our directors, like the very first day we were shooting, was like, okay, great job. She's like, the sexual chemistry is amazing between you two, but you're brother and sister. We just are sort of looking at each other with these like Halloween eyes, like, that's. But yeah, no, listen, who wouldn't be attracted to her? But yeah, no, I think we try and do a good job playing brother and sister. And I think
Okay, so do you ever still laugh about it?
all the time. It's our running joke. It is the joke that I never stop telling on the show, that Nick is truly in love with his sister. So we get a lot of jokes out of that. The crew loves it too.
Oh, but okay, so you come to the show, and do you remember this? Look at you, Sharon, Nick Scotty, Jennifer Garris, right?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, just like the young, you know, I mean, that was good times, man. You're not quite adults, you know. I mean, you're just sort of causing trouble, and you know,
And they had you wearing lots of swimsuits. I remember swimsuits.
a lot of swimsuits. Yeah. I mean, it's like, why even wear clothes to work? I mean, they just come in and strip you down. But you know, we like to, you know, have fun in the summers. We used to do a lot of pool stuff, obviously. But you know, we don't do as much anymore just because of the sets, I think. But you know, those are good times. I remember all those like they were yesterday. I really do.
I do too. I do too. And what I was going to say is, and then there was the whole Matt Clark thing and the fight, the epic fight where everything gets torn up with, it's Eddie Cibrian, right? And you.
Sure. Yeah. Eddie, man. Good dude. One of my oldest homeboys for life. You know, came on and became very fast friends. I mean, we were pretty much inseparable for years. All we did was golf and snowboard together and go out and get in trouble and enjoy everything that being on a soap opera had to offer. Good time, man. We really enjoyed ourselves in the 90s, that's for sure.
This I want to ask you about. Didn't Nick lose his memory?
Oh yes.
Is
yes.
this the island where he gets somewhere? What? I'm trying to remember.
Yeah. So Nick, there was a plane crash, and every single person on the flight died, but miraculously Nick Newman survived.
And
Unbelievable.
he's the entire time because he's on an island.
Right? Yes, he goes down, and it was in the woods. Actually, I don't know if it wasn't in an island, but yeah, goes down and almost dies. But also, again, an incredible, amazing coincidence. The person that finds him is an incredibly attractive woman who also happens to be a doctor who nurses him back to health. Yes, yeah, it was. Yes, but I think I came back and my memory was gone, which I thought was very, very clever of the show to do. Basically, there was a period of Nick's life that was completely gone. So when he came back, it was like, you know, all this life that had happened on screen was instantly gone in Nick's mind.
I want to ask you about the great Jeannie Cooper and your relationship with her and getting to work with her, because I know she really loved you in my conversations with her. What can you say about Jeannie?
Jeannie was just a powerhouse of everything. She sort of picked up on me like right away about my enjoying myself too much before before work and on nights before before I had to work. So I'd come in and she would just grab me and look at me, and she just was never she was never she was never like, at that point in my life, I say this to a lot of people. How many people were saying no to me and it wasn't something that was good for somebody like, being thrust into this situation. And Jeannie was like, you need to get your act together like yesterday. And just was talking to me a lot about being a professional and taking care of myself. And she just, I could tell it meant so much to her to want to sort of have an impact in my life, which she did. Like, the amount of conversations we had, she would, my dressing room was right next to her. She'd bang on the wall and I'd have to go around and look. She'd like, get your ass in here. I'm like, all right, go in, sit down and listen to my lesson. So she just was an amazing human being. And, her death was, it was really, really hard for me at that point in my life. I had not lost anyone that was really special to me. And so, boy, I remember getting that announcement over in my dressing room. Man, you're going to make me cry, Mike.
It's okay.
And, we had to go out on stage and they made an announcement about it. And I just, man, that was brutal, brutal, brutal to hear. So we miss her every day. Her spirit just runs through these hallowed halls. And, she's as good as it gets.
And I know she always would have these these lessons for you, and I think that's probably now maybe helped you in life later. Like,
absolutely. I mean, she was very quick to call me on my shit. Oh, sorry, call me on my behavior. She was, her thing was teaching me a lot about like humility early on and responsibility. So I needed to hear it, and I'm lucky that I had her.
She liked the guys on the show, and you were one of her favorite guys. She would always tell me when we had conversations, for sure.
She was amazing, an amazing human being.
So you end up you're in this story with Sharon Case for so many years as Nick and Sharon. And what is your whole thought of it? Like, you're like, how are they going to keep us apart now? How are they going to keep us apart now? Like, at some point, can you see them being together and ever happy? Or would that be soap opera death?
Yeah, boy, I have to be so careful here because the fans don't like hearing that, even though you're just offering up, I don't see them just being together forever, always happy and perfect. I just don't. They've got problems. Yes, they're each other's first love. They're each other's, true love. Like, they've met each other when they were kids. I mean, just kids. And so you have all these life experiences that happen. You have all the things they did to each other that affects who they are as people going forward. So, if the show tells me, yes, you're going to end up with Sharon till the end of your career, I'll be like, if that's what you want, then do it. But I don't know if that's viable. Like, you need drama, you need issues, you need problems, you need things to make the story go. And and Nick has this problem, and it's a good problem, but it is Phyllis. I mean, she has carved out a huge piece of his heart. I know the Schick people do not like hearing that, but it is the truth. This woman has a hold of Nick, and it's never going to go away. And so, and that's a problem that Nick has. When he's with one of them, he still always has a place with the other one. And, I know they don't like hearing it, but it is just the truth. So, I know there's a whole group of people out there that think I have a lot of say in it too. I have zero say for the millionth time, but
So you
I
don't ever
just,
throw down and go like, look, this is what we need to do.
I mean, you know me. Does that seem like something that I would do?
But I'm wondering now that you're the third year,
convinced that I'm doing that. So yeah, no, listen, it's a soap opera. Again, back to it. I, of course, will end up with Sharon again at some point. I don't know when it is, but it is definitely coming at some point. So, and how long that lasts, I don't know. But, I've got one job on this show, and that is to show up on time and know my lines and be effective. So, and that's what I'm going to continue to do. So, whatever Josh and the writers put in front of me, then that's what's going to happen.
I mean, but Nick's been with a lot of women. I mean, Chelsea, there's people. There's other people.
That's his thing. He likes women.
Like, we called him a dog at one point, but like
he's into women.
Do you see him now as he moves on, being a more mature version of himself? Do you think he'd still like have an affair with this one, sleep with that one? Do you see him just continuing that?
Well, I think, listen, early the tone was set very, very early on with Nick. He was not going to be a reliable boyfriend and husband. He has a very strong affinity for females, and I think that's something that you grow out of over time. I don't think if let's just say Nick got married to Sharon again next year, let's just call it that. I don't think monogamy would be a big problem for him the way it was in the past. Because look, I mean, I'm 50 years old. Nick's got to be somewhere around there too. You learn life lessons, things that sort of mold you, and things like that become more meaningful. Like, I think as you go forward in age and mature and learn more. So, yes, Nick loves the ladies, and he's had lots of great relationships on this show, and I don't make any promises about his loyalty to them, but I would like to think that he's maturing and getting better as a human being. Yes.
Okay. Miss Bubbles says the answer is a polyamorous relationship between Nick, Sharon, and Phyllis.
Well, Miss Bubbles, now you're talking about absolute scorched earth. Could you imagine I already am caught in this storm of the chic and fic people, and I don't think that is going to solve the problems that those three have. But it's not a bad idea. But I don't know, Miss Bubbles. I think
thank you.
I don't know if that's going to work. But hey, let's try it. Why not?
Jennifer says, hi, Joshua. My mom and I got to meet you at Y&R set visit 10 years ago, and we still talk about how welcome you made us feel and how funny you were. Thank you for making that such a memorable day.
Well, you're welcome, Jennifer. I like meeting people, especially fans of the show. I mean, if our show means something to someone, I'm extremely appreciative of that. Just like every actor on our show, our fans mean everything to us, and I mean everything. We're nothing without them. So if somebody comes on the show and they're excited, then I'm going to, show them a good time and let them know that we appreciate them right back.
I can't not talk about this on your 50th, not your 30th anniversary. Obviously Cameron Grimes, and then there was Cassie's death. And your performance in it, that was probably the greatest. It's the classic best, one of the best soap opera storylines ever in moments, right?
At the risk of sounding, self-serving or making it about me, I truly believe it's one of the best stories I've ever seen or heard about in daytime television. Again, that has nothing to do with the fact that I was in it. I just think that it was, at the time, such a difficult story to tell. I couldn't imagine a show killing a young, beautiful character like that meant so much to everyone. But our show had the guts to do it. And boy, did I tell you, I hated doing it. But man, it was the greatest story we've ever told, because we still tell it. We're still telling it. There are, issues still because of that fateful night that we have just mined from forever, and it always works. So yeah, it was obviously, I say it's my least favorite story, but it's also my favorite because it was, you know, really, I thought it sort of elevated my role on the show, and as well as Sharon's, into a sort of different stratosphere, if you will. And you know, just really, I was very proud of that work, and it was, you know, in my career, I could probably say it, when it's all said and done, that's the thing I'm most proud of.
Right. It holds up no matter what. You know what I'm saying? It holds up so many years later when you watch it. You go right back there as an audience, as somebody watching it. It affects all of us in such a powerful way. I remember talking to you previously. A lot of the people that play your kids on the show, you feel like they're really your kids. Like you
Sure,
have,
I love,
right? You
love
have,
them so much. Yeah.
so, you know, it was Cammy and if you just, Summer, Hunter, now Allison. What's it been like working with Allison?
Allison's been great. You know, she had some monster shoes to fill. I mean, Hunter is an incredibly talented actress, and I thought I Hunter could have been the next Nikki if she wanted it, but I knew that she was going to go off and do something else. I mean, my show has been filled with unbelievably talented children of mine who go off and do, you know, other things, and they should. So Allison came in to try and fill these massive shoes that Hunter did, and she's done it. I mean, she's a very talented young woman, and she's really, I thought, in the last few couple years, tapped into that sort of thing that made the character Summer so unique. And she's obviously, I'm a big fan of hers. I like to tease her relentlessly about her replacing Hunter, but she's done a great job. We're lucky to have somebody, because losing Hunter hurt, but to have Allison made it not sting so much.
And Raylan Castor's Faith in and out is playing been Faith, and that's a new Faith for you as well. So
Sure.
is that difficult for you? And
It is tough, man, because, you know, to your point, like you said earlier, I literally fall in love with these kids and become so close to them. I mean, Ali Lend is, there isn't anything I wouldn't do for her and Hunter. I mean, we're on a group text that they are so incredibly important to me, and I hated it that they had to leave, but I also wanted them to do it because they needed to go and, you know, experience other things than this. They were, you know, too young just to say this was, you know, this is it for me. So they had big dreams and goals, and they should go and chase them. So it's hard when, you know, these people who I cared so much about are replaced by new people, you know, but this is what we do on a soap opera. I mean, this, you got to like get on board with it and make it happen. And Ray and Ali make it easy. They're very two talented, beautiful, sparkly young women who are tremendous adds to our show. So they've done a great job, and I couldn't be prouder of them.
and you've got Cammy back. You know, she came back, so that's
Oh, that freckle-faced brat. She's a massive part of my life, and you know, she always will be. That girl, she's got a place in my heart that she knows is, you know, unmatched. And to see her now, I got to meet her son the other day. She brought him in, Bridge, and just to watch her hold him brought tears to my eyes, because she's an amazing young woman, man. And I just so proud of the woman she is. I mean, she's got more talent in her like little finger than I have in my whole body. I mean, she's an incredibly gifted performer and comedian that the show doesn't show enough, I believe. But she's very special to me, and she always will be.
well. Congratulations to your son, Crew. There's people saying it, and he's coming to. We're going to be seeing him on The Bold and the Beautiful. I believe he debuts August 1st. What is Toby's reaction to this? Like, her husband and her son are now on soap operas.
Well, so for me, it has nothing. I've been doing it for so long. All she cares about is that, you know, I come home and do the dishes and take the trash out, you know. But Crew, this is something enormous for us. This is my son. I've got 4 children, of course. This is the son that has picked up a new passion and hobby every 6 months of his life. And he was on his way to go to school at Oregon, and he took his final trip with his mother, and he got on the plane. He goes, you know what? I'm not going to do this. These aren't my people. I'm just going to go home and write movies and be an actor. And we're like, what? I mean, we had already signed the paper, like that this was your last trip, like, you know, whatever. And he's like, no, this is just what I'm doing to be an actor. I remember sitting him down, I'm like, bro, it's not that easy. Like, and he goes, you did it. I'm like, well, that's true. All right, well, we support you, and you know, whatever. Never taken an acting class ever. And he had written a couple like screenplays, and ended up going to school, taking a you know, screenwriting class and one acting class. And then I introduced him to my manager and he got a couple movies like right away, and then got this role on Bold and the Beautiful. And he's just like, of course I did. I'm like, wow. I mean, he's so like me. It's eerily
He's a mini you, mini me.
Yeah. Have you met him yet?
No.
Yeah. So he's he is a very, very confident young man. He's ultra respectful, hardworking. Of my 4 children, he's the one I've always been the least concerned about being successful, because he has just unmatched belief in himself. And I knew once he set out to do this, I was like, well, he's going to be a star. And he is. I wish I could buy like stock in him, because he's got a big future ahead of him. And I cannot wait for the world to meet him and for all of you to meet him, because is he a great kid.
We're so excited about it. So excited. Didn't Crew also make the hoodies? Wasn't he doing
did?
Because I remember doing a story on the hoodies,
sure.
Right? He was designing.
Yeah. Part of his to get into college, you know, you do like, you know, things that are charitable, you know, some sort of philanthropic, you know, angle that you can prove to colleges that you're just, you know, more than just a lacrosse player, which is what he was. And so it was when obviously when the Ukraine war started, he created these hoodies and sold them to all of his friends, and, you know, started putting out on social media and anyone, and sent the money to Ukraine. And I was like, wait, you want to do what? And so he had just started this. And I mean, he raised thousands of dollars for Ukraine doing this. And, you know, but that's who he is. Like, we didn't have one thing to do with it. And he just was just like, yeah, this is what I'm going to do. We're like, great, we support you. And he's just, like I said, hardworking. He's a visionary. He is, you know, consistently writing screenplays and stuff. I mean, he's an awesome kid, man. I really, really cannot wait to see everyone's response from him, because this is no nepotism thing. This kid is better than I was. He's far more ambitious than I was. He's far more dedicated to improving himself. He is going to be a very, very big deal. Mark my words.
Well, we can't wait. Here's a question. Were you surprised that Cassie had a twin and was able to return to the show as a different character?
Nothing surprises me on our show. You know, what I was impressed with was, I think, as amazing as the story of the death of Cassie was, we needed a way to sort of rectify that. And we did it perfectly with Mariah, you know? So I wasn't surprised, but I'm certainly glad they did, because that means I got to have Cameron Grimes in my life again in the studio. So deeply appreciative of the show that they decided to do that, because, you know, Cameron is a very, very, very big part of our family here.
What would you love to still do story-wise with Nick? I know you come in and do what they write for you, but is there something that you would just love to try to do?
Yeah, I said this on a recent interview. I would like to have a crossover on Bold and the Beautiful. Now, I'd like to apologize to Jackie, because I'm sure she got some warnings from the people who really despise Nick and think he's an old creepy guy, that he's got his eyes set on the beautiful Jackie, you know. But I just think the idea of, a sort of crossover triangle would be pretty amazing. Logistically, I don't know how it could ever work. I'm sure it couldn't, but just the idea of it sounds interesting. So for all those people that think Nick is a creepy old predator, then I'll do it with Catherine Kelly Lang. Will that make everyone happy? Either one. Give me either one, and I will sell the hell out of this story. Just give me a chance, Brad and Josh. We can make it work.
You heard it here. You heard it here. Kevin is saying, I've been watching you since you started on the show. I love you and Sharon Case. Question for you. Do you still have family in Oklahoma? And if so, how often do you get back there?
My whole family on my father's side is still there. I don't go back very often. If anything, I bring my father out to see his grandkids out here. It's a little more fun. But no, Oklahoma, I will always be an Oklahoma boy. I raised all my sons with Oklahoma values. They will look you in the eye. They will shake your hand. They will call you yes or no, sir. Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. So the Oklahoma thing is very important to me still, and it always will be. But yeah, my whole family's there. All my favorite sports teams are in Oklahoma. I will always have a deep affinity for that state.
Okay, now I have a big question for you. I'm upset about Klay Thompson leaving the Golden State Warriors to go to Dallas, but I'm a Golden State guy because I love stuff, right? But I guess it was time for him to leave because he wasn't getting a chance to really play. Are you on whose time? What side of this are you on? Klay's to go.
Yeah, no, it was time for him to go. Klay needed a change of scenery. His last couple years, they were injury riddled, but he needed something different to happen, like just some movement of some way. But I know you're a Warrior fan, so I'm going to make your day right here. They replaced him with Buddy Hield, who is a Oklahoma Sooner legend and my favorite college basketball player of all time. And he is better than Klay Thompson. So you got an upgrade there. And Buddy Hield is swiftly going to become one of your favorite players. I love him so much.
If you love him, will you root for the Warriors?
I always root for Buddy Hield. No, I'm a Laker fan.
But
I will always root for Buddy Hield. I know every stop of his career. He's my favorite. Like I said, he's a big deal to me. So I will always root for him.
Okay, here's a question for you. Nick, can you make another dance video for us?
Well, the show does tend to enjoy coming to me to do the dance stuff, which I'm perfectly fine doing. I know my role. I'm gonna stay in my lane. So I'm sure at some point there will be some dance and stuff coming up soon. I'm gonna make your day. It'll be good.
On the 30th anniversary, what did you get? What did the cast say to you? Did you get did everybody leave messages for you? Did you celebrate with them at all?
I was gone when it all went down. But the show is so incredibly generous and nice to me. Our cast and crew always. I don't need a 30th anniversary to make for them to make me feel special. But they all shot me texts of congratulations and gave me hugs. My 4 leading ladies that I've had recently did an amazing.
Which is the 4?
Well, it's true, right? So Sharon, Missy, Michelle, and Courtney. They all did an interview that Maddie Kane sent me while I was in Europe, and it just made me cry. These actors, particularly these 4 women, are so important to me, and they've had such a huge impact on my life and career. For them to take the time and to be so, to say such heartwarming things and compliments about me, you want to, at the end of the day, you want to touch people in your life, and to know that I had a solid impact, and to know that they think so highly of me, it really makes me feel good and loved. And the show does, with everyone. I mean, I got congratulation texts from everyone. They care about me. I know there's nothing fake about it. We're a very tight knit group here.
Got a couple last questions for you. One is you and Mark Grossman, Adam and Nick's relationship. How is working with Mark? You've had different Adams through the years of your run, and Mark is the current Adam. And where do you see the state of their relationship at this point?
It's always delicate with them. I know that there's a large group of fans that really hate Nick at times because of the way he treats Adam. But they had a very complicated relationship. The hardline Adam supporters like to forget what Adam did to Nick. And if you know anything about Nick, if you mess with his kids, it's pretty much you're dead to him forever. So I apologize if Nick doesn't treat Adam the way they all want all the time. But, the Nick has been, I think, very open to giving him many opportunities to prove himself. You know, is he always fair to him? No, but that's sort of the Newman mentality at times. Mark's done an incredible job stepping into this role. He's very, very talented dude. And, what I like about sort of, the difference between Muni and Justin and him was they all play him very differently. And I really like Mark's take on Adam. And, he's got to do some real heavy lifting on this show. I mean, they really give him a ton of, big, crucial stuff, and he knocks it out of the park. Guy's got talent for days. So, do I think they're always going to be super close? I do not. And I hope the fans don't think that it's Nick not giving him a chance. The show and the medium, I think, needs, sort of this delicate relationship that can blow up at any second, because I think that's fun and to play and also good to watch. His evolution as a character has been awesome, and we will see. I think Nick's a pretty generous guy to him, but the wounds are still pretty deep with them.
We talked about Phyllis. Your best chemistry, Brooklyn says, will be with Michelle Stafford. Always best chemistry. Can you talk about working with Michelle Stafford? Because you two always had this, from what I understand, a very fun relationship. Correct?
Of course. Stafford and I are homies for life. I mean, she is such a huge part of my life. My favorite story, without question, is the Nick, Sharon, Phyllis triangle, just because it sort of came out of nowhere and it elevated the show, I thought, to a really cool level, because it was, surprising and gut-wrenching to watch at times. But Stafford and I, man, we click. We've got similar senses of humor. I've been with her through all of her, her life, and she with mine, and she and my wife are close friends. So it's she's very important to me. Very important to me. To her point, I love their energy together. It's just freaking electric. Stafford and I don't rehearse. We don't have to. Like our beats and everything are just natural and it's just, she's an awesome gal. I mean, more talented, I think, than people give her credit for. She is a force out there, and I couldn't love her more. She's an amazing person, good friend.
Sharon and you went through your standalone episode, your 30th anniversary episode, and they're literally reminiscing about the history of the two of the characters together. Did you and Sharon case when you were doing it? How was that when you actually filmed it? Were you like, wait, we did all this? This is how I
Yeah.
What was that like with Sharon, and what she brings to the table in her scenes with you?
Oh, Sharon is I mean, my career and hers will forever be linked. I mean, we've been, tied together for 30 years, and I couldn't have asked a better person to go on this journey with. She's such a beautiful actress. Like, everything she says, I think, is so honest and heartbreaking. I mean, the places this show has asked her to go are insane to me. And she's, always incredibly prepared. She can be heartbreaking. She can be hysterical. She can be everything. She's just a really, really uniquely talented woman. And, watching all those shows, I mean, the show did something very cool that we've never done before. They showed us all the shows while we were like we'd look off like we were having this memory. They would show it to us. So we're like, oh, this is when you did, this. And we were watching them and we just sort of kept looking at each other and like shaking our heads like, can you believe we did this and we're still doing this? And, you remember them, but you're like, my God, we were babies and my hair was terrible and you were gorgeous. And, it was amazing to go down that journey with her. Cause, we've been through, holy cow, more than I can even wrap my head around what these two characters have been through together. So, her 30th is coming up. She deserves, every accolade, even more. I mean, because trust me, she's had to do way more on this show in 30 years than I've had to. And she's done an amazing job. She is a true icon in this medium.
I want to end with this because I know you have to get back to set. I was talking with Amelia Hiley because I want to talk about the absolute hilarity you guys have. I was talking to Amelia Hiley at the Daytime Emmys. I said, what was it like when you had to do that scene with Colleen Zenk in the house and you're all drinking the poison and you get stabbed?
Oh my God.
And he's like, are you kidding me? What are we even drinking? This makes no sense. And I just was thinking about you, Joshua. Like, you had to be laughing during this. Like, I mean, obviously you got through it, but
your hilarity ensued. Trust me. Sometimes we tell stories on the show that are really difficult to sort of make sense of, and that was certainly one of them. And part of it was having Eric there. Eric is just sitting there with this look on his face like, what the hell are we doing? But it was, dude, I mean, look, we've I'd love to know how many stories I've actually told in my life and my career. That one was tough because we're just I'm poisoned fighting this 70-year-old woman, but I'm weak, super weak, whatever, and I don't know. It was very, let's just say that day did not go quickly because there were a lot of break in we're like, what are we doing?
Did Eric laugh?
Oh my God, did Eric laugh? It's like the highlight of the show when Eric breaks and starts laughing because he's just his shoulders just start moving and he can't keep it together, dude. It's like it was interesting, but at least I had Amelia there because we always just sort of shoot each other looks like, what are we doing? But listen, Colleen is an amazing actress, and listen, if a woman of her age can be that terrifying, which she was, then we did a great job because it was good. She's amazing. I hope I think she'll be back. I hope she does.
Joshua, thank you for taking the time today. I really wanted to do this with you. I wanted to mark the occasion of your 30-year anniversary. I didn't want it to go by without getting a chance to talk to you because I feel like I've gone along the journey with you on the sidelines of your career with Y&R. So thank you for doing this, and congratulations. Really,
dude, you've been just as big a part of it as anything, man. I mean, I look back at you and you guys have been there since day one. I mean, it's baloney. It's just you guys are all great, and you're always so kind to me and interested in what I do in my life, and you've been there for every big part of my with my marriage and my kids and everything. So you guys are a big part of my history too. So I appreciate you very much. I promise you that.
Watch Joshua weekdays on The Young and the Restless on CBS and streaming on Paramount Plus. All right. I guess we'll see you in the next 10 more years in the 40th anniversary.
We'll see, man.
We'll see. All right, Joshua, have a great day.
All right. You too, buddy.